we have updates on immigration matters. Strategy at the Rio Grande. Federal government accused Texas of obstructing migrant rescues. Additionally, this week in La Lupa Electoral, our section of politics and pedagogy for immigrants. The road to the White House. How caucuses decide the presidential race in the U.S. More on this coming up.
Welcome to the Quiroga Law Office Weekly News section. This is a space where we share all the latest immigration updates. This is the most important immigration news of the week. We invite you to stay tuned.
U.S. Supreme Court endorsed removal of barbed wire at border. Texas loses to Biden in immigration dispute. The U.S. Supreme Court authorized federal agents to remove barbed wire at the Texas-Mexico border, overturning a Fifth Circuit ruling that protects this barrier. The narrow decision responds to a request for the Department of Homeland Security against the Fifth Circuit's order preventing federal interference. Texas' appeal will be heard on February 7 in the Fifth Circuit. Strategy at the Rio Grande. Federal governments accuse Texas of obstructing migrant rescues. In the ongoing border conflict between Texas and the Biden administration, National Guard soldiers block federal agents' access to the Shelby Park border area. This obstruction is rescuing migrants resulted in the death of a woman and 2 children, while 2 other migrants suffer from hypothermia. Although Mexico rescued the latter, the lack of federal access to the area poses risk of humanitarian crisis. The DHS seeks full access to prevent further tragedies. Over 85% of undocumented immigrants released at the border, says Homeland Security Secretary. Over 85% of undocumented immigrants detained at the U.S. southern border are released, according to the Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas. Between February 2021 and November 2023, over 3.6 million were detained. More than 85% were processed under the Immigration and Nationality Act and released. This figure includes over 426,000 unaccompanied minors. Meanwhile, over 2.1 million were directly released by the Border Patrol. Family rights in debate. U.S. Supreme Court reviews a case of discrimination due to tattoos. The U.S. Supreme Court will review the case of a woman whose immigrant husband was denied a visa due to tattoos allegedly linked to gangs. This case highlights the complex human consequences of immigration policies and the criticism of the decisions based on discriminatory assumptions. It also undercovers the tension between executive powers and citizens' rights, questioning unjustified family separations and the need to protect fundamental rights in the immigration policy. Additionally, this week in La Lupa Electoral, our section of politics and pedagogy for immigrants. La Lupa Electoral, the road to the White House. How caucuses decide the presidential race in the U.S. Caucuses, open debate and voting meetings of party members to choose presidential candidates in the U.S., are notable for their importance in states like Iowa and New Hampshire. Recently, Donald Trump led the caucuses in Iowa and New Hampshire, closely followed by Nikki Haley. While caucuses are critical in the nominations and the public perception of candidates, they form only part of the process that includes primaries and national conventions. Remember, 2024 is crucial. Act to fix your status. Contact us for assistance.
This has been the news summary for this week, brought to you by Quiroga Law Office. Remember to follow us on our social media platforms. Don't forget to share this news recap so that the entire immigrant community can stay informed and up to date on the most relevant topics that matter to us, immigrants in the United States.